This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Odyssey Theater for the world premiere of The Red Dress. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Kiff Scholl.
Okay, and what did you do tonight?
I directed The Red Dress.
This piece, basically, why do you decide to direct it?
You know, I'm part Jewish. It's not a strong part of my family history, but it is. My dad is a Russian Jew. Family came over from Russia long before the Holocaust. And then my mom, who was Catholic, sort of rescued a Holocaust survivor who my family raised, and I'd never directed a play of this genre, and it wasn't until I read it that it just kind of latched itself onto me. I felt like I had to direct it. I felt honored and lucky that I somehow was handed this script because it just spoke to me on a level that I didn't even realize I was on a level that I didn't realize was possible. The filmmaker element, the actress element, all just feeling sort of light and fun and fluffy, and then it just crumbles, and it's just devastating. And I couldn't resist it.
I actually look at it not only as a piece about World War II, you know, about Germany and the Holocaust, but also about a man and his wife debating about whether to sell out, whether you should give up your art and be more commercial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You become more successful, and now they're telling you what to do. I felt that also in the play.
Absolutely. I mean, this is. I mean, the deep down, ultimately, it is a love story. It is two people who are struggling to survive and follow their dreams. And, you know, I've, had relationships that, have hinged on the fact that I can't leave Los Angeles. I'm an artist, I'm an actor and a director and a filmmaker. I have to be here. And so it is so relevant, it's so accessible, even though it's set so long ago. I mean, and talk about relevance. I mean, the rise of Nazis, watching that slow turn of the screw and recognizing it now with hindsight, which they didn't have. They had no idea what, giving in to what the Nazis wanted would mean. They were like, Germany's a sophisticated country. How bad is it going to be? And, of course, with hindsight, we now know, but we also see it happening kind of again. I don't want to compare the two directly, but Nazis are certainly getting their resurgence lately, and that was the other reason I couldn't help but resist the script. It just is so... I couldn't be more relevant. It's kind of horrifying.
I actually loved your casting, too. The actors were ideal for it. The leading lady actually looked like a silent film star, even the way she talked, because they didn't talk very well back or eloquently, and she gave with that kind of squeaky voice.
Yeah. I actually I was doing some research when we were casting, and I discovered that Betty Boop was created around this time, and so that persona, that kind of bubbly, effervescent, sort of ditzy comedy character was a well-known character even back then, and it was sort of opened up my eyes to what this role could be. Watching that character be facing these challenges, this tragedy, was such a... I mean, I have goosebumps now just thinking about the juxtaposition. When she walked in the door, we had brilliant actresses audition, including her, obviously, but it was obviously her role from that moment because it just took the play to that frightening edge that it wouldn't have otherwise. So we really scored, and she was one of two actors that I'd never worked with before. Rebecca Larson and I go back over a decade. Shanti Reinhardt and I go back to the late 90s, and J.B. Waterman and I have been working together since the mid-aughties. So, I didn't drag them into the cast. I brought them to auditions, but it was very clear to everyone that this was our ensemble. They worked so beautifully together and just captured the spirit of the play just so naturally. I mean, we're watching a Nazi, a homeless veteran, rise up, become a filmmaker, and become a Nazi. Not to, spoiler alert. if he's not sympathetic, we don't have a play. And so his casting was also really exciting because it's kind of bold to have a Nazi that you sympathize with.
So, question: what do you look for in casting?
I look for essence. It's all about essence. I'm an actor as well, and I love to believe that I could be cast in any role. Like, you want me to play Lady Macbeth, I will probably be doing an amazing job if you give me a chance. But if I don't capture the essence of what the director is looking for in his Lady Macbeth, it doesn't matter how audacious you are. So for me, capturing the essence, then I don't have to do a lot of work as a director. I can just sort of trust that once they understand the backstory and their history and their journeys, I can really entrust the roles to the actors, and they will discover things that I never saw coming, which they've already proven to be doing just since previews.
Oh, first of all, I really enjoyed the play. I thought the actors were fantastic, and it was obviously a very poignant topic. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself. Thank you very much for being on the show.
What a pleasure. Thanks so much for the interview. Really appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I am Tanya Wisbar, the playwright for Red Dress, which opened tonight at the Odyssey Theater in West Los Angeles for a 4-week run.
I love the piece. I thought it was very poignant. The leading character, he was actually more of an anti-hero, because he was actually a Nazi. He was a collaborator.
I think he was an opportunist, and it's modeled after my father, who was a very well-known German film director, both before, during, and after the Nazis. And he was not much of a father, but he is a very well-known name in German films. And so that whole character is modeled after my father, and my mother was Jewish, and he wasn't. So it's derived from a true story.
That is amazing.
It's all about racism and how much we damage by finding reasons to hate each other and pretend it's justified. When the reason she's only 1/8 Jewish is to make it very clear that racism has no philosophical basis or any rationale whatsoever, except what the culture you're in dumps on it. So I think the play transmits that message really effectively.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
To learn how abruptly a culture can give away other people's rights.
I think it also shows you that how very little has changed in this world. You still have to be diligent. You still have to watch out for things like this happening, because they can happen anytime.
You're absolutely correct, and it is happening all the time. And when we take our eyes off each other's rights, we've already lost our own.
Once again, I really love the piece. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Night.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hi, Laura Liguori. I'm really tired. I just finished doing the Gary plays, which were When I Met You Last Time, which was a series of 6 plays written by Murray Mednick. And then I moved on to the production of The Red Dress, which I play Alexandra Schiele. She's a famous German actress, and she grew up as a child star, and she used her fame to basically go against the Nazi regime. And even though they try and really crush her spirit, she never loses it. So it's a really, really great character to play.
Yeah, usually, again, I'm really not that excited about, say, leading characters, so leading man or leading woman, because I feel like you're just playing yourself. This particular piece, I really love the way you play, because you're also the victim, too. Not only the leading lady, but also the victim.
Well, one of the hardest parts for me in this play is the second half, because I feel in some parts I lose my voice. Plus, I don't have dialogue. So it's hard, but that's what happens when people lose their voice. That's when great harm can happen. But if they use their voice, they have courage, they stand up, they speak up now in current times, maybe we can prevent prevent something that happened like World War II again.
Or maybe some other things that just need voice, that just need people to say, this is just wrong. It shouldn't be happening right now. Like, say, oppression towards women or something like that.
Right, which is happening right now. We see with the Weinstein case, all the women coming out on Facebook saying, me too, me too. It's I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, it was almost everybody I've ever known and more that has had a situation where they've been harassed or assaulted. And that shame that was attached to it is no longer there, I feel, since that happened. So, sexual predators, beware.
I agree. You were the hero in this, and it was just because you allowed yourself to go. So people could have said, okay, just give in and go with the way. But no, she stood her ground. She won it, and the female heroes today also stood their ground and says, no, we're just going to tell the story. This is what happened. It was wrong. You guys judge for yourselves, and I think it changed so much.
Yes. Well, I don't want to say too much about the play because I don't want to give away things. But what I can say is that I personally found a lot of parallels from, as you saw, before the Nazis took control. There are a lot of parallels about how Hitler became chancellor and the parliament was in favor, but the majority popular vote not. You saw how he stopped the media. You know, he allowed anti-Semitism to breed by shutting off people's voices, by canceling the newspapers, and that's what's important, is that we never stop using our voice. And Nina Simone said, and I wrote this in my bio, that it's an artist's job to reflect the times. And the shocking part about it is, as I was working on this, I realized I'm literally kind of reflecting our times.
True. I love the piece. I loved your acting. You were almost like a silent picture star. Even your voice, you raised your range a little bit so the squeak would come out. Because, you know, back then the silent picture actors were criticized for not having great voices. Yeah. I just love the way you played that. I love your focus to your eyes, your body movement. I just love that.
But thank you. Thank you. I did a lot of voice stuff just from watching Marilyn Monroe. A lot of her diction and things she did, I added in.
Once again, I really loved you. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you again.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hey, J.B. Waterman. I'm an actor in The Red Dress at the Odyssey Theater, and I play Franz, the homeless veteran who becomes a successful film director in pre-Hitler Germany. Franz is a sensitive, funny, charming man who had to go fight in the trenches in World War I and lost his family and his friends in the war, and has fought back from that to try to accomplish something, and is deeply in love with Alexandra. So very complicated, but a charmer with PTSD, I guess is how I'd put it.
I love anti-heroes, right? I love villains. Your character, I'm sorry, but your character was a Nazi. He was a villain. I mean, I was very sympathetic for him. I understand what he went through, but I'm sorry that he was, I would say, one of the leading voices, one of the leading architects of the propaganda movement in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, I don't think Franz felt like that was a necessary evil to participate in the propaganda and in order to be safe and to protect himself and his family and to have success and to feel like my identity was fulfilled, to be successful. But yes, I did fall for the narrative of the Jews being the enemies, or not the enemy, but a cause of a lot of problems. I think Franz was trying to protect himself, and that's why he really went along with the Nazis. I do say in the show I'm not a part of the party. I'm not a member of the party. But yeah, I mean, you can say I'm a Nazi, because I am, for all intents and purposes.
there's the word collaborator. It's kind of like, well, I mean, that sounds like a good thing, right? You're working with people. You may not agree with them, but at least, you know, you're helping them, they're helping you. But that word collaborator is kind of, I don't know, you know what I mean? It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, and it should. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Franz, you have to understand, was in one of the worst war situations in the history of mankind. And he is homeless with nothing at the top of the show. And he has an opportunity to not just have personal fulfillment, but a sense of success and safety with the Nazi party. And that's what he chooses to do. I guess it's sort of a deal with the devil, but to me, I understand why he makes that choice. But that's what he did. Or even, I mean, look at Harvey Weinstein. Nobody was going to risk their career to speak out against him. Nobody. Until he was already fired and had no power left in Hollywood. That's the only time when anyone spoke poorly about that guy, except for two people that the New York Times, after years, were able to get. And that's because people valued their families, their success, the money. And when I say family, I mean looking after their family and having the kind of private schools that they could go to. And if they weren't going to get any jobs because Harvey Weinstein was going to try to shut them down, they didn't want to risk that. And I think Franz, in a sense, is doing a similar thing. He's saying, well, yeah, but I'm going with this. And so that's how it applies to today. I mean, people I don't need to sympathize with me. I mean, as an actor, it was hard to come up against the lines I had to say and to sort of make peace with the fact that, yeah, people aren't going to really be on my side. But I want them to at least identify with pain and suffering that he went through and kind of choices made through, I don't know, like absenteeism, kind of not making a choice is a choice. And that's what Franz did.
Yeah, I really loved your performance because again, you were actually the anti-hero. Well, you were actually the villain, and again, I'm very sympathetic. You identify with, relevant to current life, you know. So I feel you did a fantastic job in a really difficult part that put you in a kind of in a dark light.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Thank you once again for being on the show.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Dylan Wittrock. I'm from Los Angeles. I was originally born in Massachusetts. I've been an actor my whole life. I'm delighted to be in the Red Dress. It's just it's a fantastic play. I think it's really important to be doing right now. And I'm having a great time. I play Officer Dieter Keller. The Gestapo officer is the bad guy in the play. He's the Nazi, so he represents basically the whole Nazi party. He starts off as kind of an innocent person, and you see him when he's young, and then you see him at the end as he's kind of transformed into a Gestapo officer, a full-fledged, full believer in the Nazi party and all of the horrible things that they believed in. So it was interesting to kind of see, the evil in the character, but also try to give it a human, bent to it, to see that the horrible things that humans are capable of themselves. So.
Yeah, that's kind of always the problem with being a Nazi. It's kind of, you got to be evil. I mean, because come on, you can't be nice. So basically, Nazis are just this way. I did like your intensity though in it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the horrible thing is that they were, in their own sick, horrible way, trying to make the world a better place. They were trying to, so that's how you have to go in with it and approach the character as, he's trying to do good things for people. And if you look at it that way, it gets even more disgusting, but it also it allows you to approach the character and not make it a caricature and make it a person, a real human person.
Okay, if my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
You expect to see a really tight-knit drama between two people who are in love, trying to negotiate and find their way through a really difficult, for lack of a better word, time period in which their views, their contrasting views wind up being kind of in a really high-stakes environment that winds up being life birth and death. I think it's a kind of a story of a family, and it's a story. It is a historical drama, but it's kind of shows the history of the time period between World War I and World War II in between two people. So you kind of see the two sides of it as shown in a house, kind of like a house divided. So you see the drama that took place in the reality of people's homes.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was also a play about basically about a person becoming more successful and having to sell out a little bit, because that's very relevant to today, especially in Hollywood around there. So again, I thought it was very poignant there. Also, I thought the acting was very poignant too. Again, more of a almost like a silent movie type where I love the leading actress. She was almost like in black and white, and your character too was also like a silent movie type Nazi character.
Yeah, it definitely has that kind of classic aesthetic to it that is really fun to play in. So it's a lot of fun.
Once again, I really enjoyed the piece tonight. I enjoyed your acting also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
The Red Dress will be playing at the Odyssey Theater from October 28th to November 19th. For more information, go to www.plays411.com/reddress.